Hello, welcome to another episode of Jaxon Talks Everybody with me, your host, Jaxon Stone. And I want to say, first off, thank you for watching, listening, viewing episode number 6, which was the restart, the reboot of Jaxon Talks Everybody. I appreciate the messages and all that stuff regarding with what I said in the episode and then where I want to take this podcast from here on out. With that being said, I'm back. I'm back with another solo episode. And I've got a few topics for today's podcast that we'll get into in a little bit later. But going forward, when I'm doing these solo episodes, I want to start each episode with how I'm feeling. And I think the question, how are you, can be the most complicated question that we ask to our friends, to our peers, colleagues, people we don't even know. We ask that question, how are you? And we ask it a lot. And I have a hope and a dream that when that question is asked, how are you, that the people asking it and the people responding to it feel open enough, feel comfortable enough with where the conversation on mental health is, that we can be open and responsible and genuine with that answer. Because if we can get to that idea that when someone asks us, how are you, that they actually do care, it's not just a form of saying hello, that I feel like that is just a very simple way that we can be able to communicate a little bit better, show that we care a little bit more, and really listen to those words that person is saying onto how they are, like for real, how are they? And so I think that's an important step we can make, and we can make that in our own lives individually. Just with when we ask that question, we're asking it with care, and we're asking it with the intent of really knowing how that person is doing. And if you're not in a place mentally yourself where you can handle someone else's answer of how they are really, then don't ask it, because we all are dealing with our own things in our own lives, and sometimes we don't have the capacity, to have that answer of someone else. We're still figuring out where we need to go for our own selves, and taking care of our own selves is not selfish, because the more we take care of ourselves, the more we have capacity and room to take care of others. So that question, how are you, is very deep, and it can be very deep, and I feel like it can open a lot of conversation topics, just right off the bat. And so let's work on that. I'm going to work on that, so that's why I want to start these episodes moving forward with answering my own question, with answering the question of how am I feeling? How am I doing? So, this right in this moment is probably the best I've felt in the last few weeks with everything that's gone on. Today's date is July 2nd. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon here in Dallas, Texas. And I'm feeling, the best I've felt in a few weeks over the course of everything that's happened over the last couple weeks. I was angry for a while. I was on the verge of tears, and a lot of tears came for a while. I was heartbroken for a bit. But I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better than I've felt in a bit. I'm going to try to keep that going. And I'm hoping everyone listening to this is doing the best they can during this time, because we're still in very overwhelming and uncertain times as a world, as a planet. So I'm hoping when someone asks you the question, how are you feeling, or how are you doing, that you feel open and comfortable enough to be able to respond honestly and responsibly. And I hope the person listening to that actually listens without judgment and they validate you. Because there's a lot of bad shit happening in the world right now, but that doesn't unvalidate the way you feel. Your feelings are real. Your feelings are important. And we have to first check in on those feelings to be able to have the empathy and capacity then to deal with or care for people who may be in worse situations. But to understand that your feelings are real first, and we can't be anything to anyone else if we are nothing to ourselves. And I think that's a very important tool to learn and understand, especially in these kind of times and moving forward when we deal with more hardship and more pain and suffering in our lives. Because, when one thing ends, kind of something else happens. But that's how we kind of be emotionally resilient and have some emotional agility to kind of combat all these things that life throws at us. And that's what I've been working on the last couple years in my grieving process and all that stuff. And stuff like that has helped me. So hopefully me sharing it with you can help you as well. I don't really know if this is exactly how I planned on starting this episode. I just kind of wanted to answer the question, how I'm feeling. And I think it's important. That's an important question. I think we can really do something with that. To create a little more connection and openness, and be a little more vulnerable with each other. And the more we're vulnerable with each other, the more I think people will, I don't know, actually. Like, vulnerability is so hard, but it's so important, The idea of being vulnerable and putting yourself out there takes so much courage and confidence, and it's a beautiful thing to do. And if we can all feel that way, there's more strength in those shared experiences, and I think we can just be better together, looking out for one another. So that's the opening of that. But I also want to quickly talk about coffee, obviously, because if you're a fan, if you just started listening to this podcast, or you're just a fan of Jaxon Stone in general, you know that I love coffee. There was a span of time this year where I tweeted about coffee, I think 75 days in a row. I didn't get to 100 because more important and more pressing issues became more important. So I kind of forgot about that. But I'm pretty proud of the 75 days that I got to. It was actually kind of hard, really hard, actually. I was trying to think of something creative, like every day, to talk about with coffee. Something that wasn't just like, hey, I drank coffee today, because I used that obviously a few times when I ran out of ideas. But I feel like those are some of my best tweets. I made a whole thread about it. I haven't looked at it in a couple months, but if you're interested in reading the incredible coffee tweets of Jaxon Stone, check those out. But really what I wanted to mention was that I was made aware on the last solo episode that I did with my brand new microphone that when I drank my coffee, I guess I drank it so close to the mic, or the microphone is so good just in general, that you could basically hear the coffee run down and pour down my throat as I was drinking it. And then I watched it back, the episode back, or I listened to it back, and absolutely that's 100% true. And I loved it. I loved hearing the coffee just kind of pour down my throat. It was like, it was even quenching then watching it back, as it was just lovely drinking it during the episode. But like I said, it's like 2:30-ish in the afternoon here in Dallas. I have not had any coffee today. So I don't even know how I've even started this episode without drinking any coffee, but I did it. Thank you so much. But I'm going to have my first sip of coffee for the day, and hopefully you can hear the entire process of it and see it. It's very good. It's hot, very hot still. These Yeti cups are really good. They keep the coffee warm for a long time. I really like them. Shout out to Nicole for getting me that cup. But a lot of people ask me what coffee I drink. I'm a big Starbucks fan. I do like Starbucks. My go-to drink at Starbucks is just a venti, or I don't know, large I don't know if that's venti or not, whatever. Large vanilla latte is what I get. I like them. They're tasty. But when I'm at home, making coffee at home at Everybody's Land, cheap plug, I drink Death Wish coffee, and I order that. I'll order that, and they send it to my house, obviously, and that's what I make in my Keurig, mostly every morning, sometimes in the afternoon, like today. But yeah, I like Death Wish. It's very good. I give it a try. I also like Bones coffee. Sheila, a fan from MPX, she sent me some Bones coffee, and that was really good. It was maple bacon flavored, I believe. That's also really good, so I recommend getting those. Those are good coffees. Another quick little thing before we kind of get into some other stuff is that it is July 2nd, so that means we are currently in Minority Mental Health Month. And obviously, as a whole, mental health is extremely important. We have to talk about it all the time. But for minorities or for people who may live in lower income communities, access to mental health care is even more difficult. And the stigma then surrounding getting help is even deeper. And so with less access to care and less access to help, people are less likely to then ask for help. So then it creates a bigger mental health problem on top of, racial inequality and racism and social injustice, which creates a whole wealth of mental health issues. Experiencing daily trauma is very, 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 very difficult. On top of that, just in general, mental health care is harder to access in those kinds of communities. So we have to do a better job of trying to make mental health care available, accessible to every single person. Our physical health and our mental health are tied, and we deserve to have the treatment and the care for it, regardless of where we live or how much money we have or what we look like. We deserve to take care of our minds and to be happy and to be loved, and that starts with having good, solid mental health. And if no one teaches you that, if no one tells you about that, if no one teaches you the emotional resilience and the agility and protecting your mental health, then how are you supposed to know? So we have to pass on this information. We have to talk about it. We have to be open and responsible with the way we talk about it. And we have to amplify the voices that are unheard and underrepresented. And we have to fight for reform, for change, so mental health care is available, accessible for everyone. Literally, that's it, for everyone, all the time. So, yeah, so with You Are Loved this month, we'll be doing some stuff to amplify those voices, to donate to some of the organizations that are doing the hard work in those kinds of communities, and just do the best we can to try to help out. And and you can email your local officials, governors and stuff, and mayors to change pass the bills and all the laws to get mental health care available and accessible to everyone. So just a little tidbit. Okay. Something else I would quickly like to discuss is working at Walmart. I guess that's not the basis of the what I want to talk about, but it has something to do with it. So today is July 2nd, like I said, which means on July 1st I posted about a lifestyle brand that I will be starting, that I have started. And it's called For Everybody. As you know, I've kind of branded the idea of everybody, starting off with Jaxon Stone, everybody. Jaxon Stone is for everybody. Now Jaxon Talks Everybody. Soon Everybody's Hotline, Everybody's Land. But I wanted to get a little more serious with it, and really what my intention was behind saying everybody, what the meaning of it behind it was, and really what it meant to me going forward. And so I came up with the idea of for everybody. Obviously I have You Are Loved, which is focused on mental health awareness, education, research, and reform, and breaking down the stigma. So that's what You Are Loved is for. For everybody, obviously You Are Loved is also about, creating a community that encourages open and responsible conversation. It's all about community, because we as people need connection. We need connection. We're not meant to go through this life alone. We're meant to go through with other people, connecting and sharing experiences and memories and moments. And these things are beautiful. And so that's what that's about. And for everybody, the brand is kind of in the same mindset, kind of in the same vein. And it's basically a lifestyle brand designed for everybody. And the idea behind it is everybody helping everybody. So behind every purchase, you can decide personally where a portion of your proceeds will get donated to. At the top of my list for those charities or donations that I'd like to put some money and effort into would be homelessness and education, especially in like lower income communities. So the idea of everybody helping everybody was there, and so I had this idea, came up with it, decided I would put out the kind of the first few tweets and Instagram posts in July, and then plan for 5-6 months, and then drop the official clothing brand website and everything on January 2nd, where you can actually buy stuff. Until then, basically we'll be explaining the brand, putting it out on social media, allowing people to subscribe to the emailing list, allowing people to follow, and then building up a little bit of a fan base, following, whatever you want to call it, until we launch. But explaining along the way, what's it for, what's it about, why I'm doing it. And so the idea is everybody helping everybody. But bringing it back to Walmart, so I worked at Walmart for 3 months. And I stopped working there June 24th. I may have said that in the last episode. But working at Walmart, I've never done a job like that in my life. I've been a pro wrestler, and I've been a personal trainer, and I've played baseball. That's what I've done. Played baseball, then I became a personal trainer, then personal trainer turned while I was pro wrestling, and now pro wrestling, and now I'm doing all this other stuff, obviously, that I've been talking about to you guys for a while. So I worked at Walmart. Gym, kind of wrestling got shut down, gyms got shut down, so I wanted to help. First off, I wanted to help essential workers, and also I wanted to make a little bit of money. So I worked at Walmart. And working at Walmart opened my eyes to a lot of things. It specifically opened up my eyes to how hard people work on a daily basis to run this country, to make it run smoothly, and to basically make everyone else's lives better, and how underappreciated those people are. How underappreciated the people that make this place run, this place being our country, run better. And myself included, right? You go to the grocery store, you see someone check you out, or someone stocking the aisles, or someone driving the food into the back of the Walmart to put the food up so that you can buy it and take home and feed your family. I would say thank you, obviously, but I really wasn't appreciating or understanding how hard they were working to get that shit done. And then I work at the distribution center in Walmart, and I spend 40 hours a week, packing boxes, putting boxes on trucks, shipping, being support for other people who are doing these things. It's very hard work. It's very taxing work. It's underpaid for sure. And it just grew my appreciation level for all these kinds of folks who are working hard day to day. Even before they were considered essential workers, they were obviously essential workers. They were valuable human beings putting in the necessary work to make our daily lives better. And those people need to be celebrated. They absolutely 100% need to be celebrated. And, because we celebrate, athletes and celebrities, and they're just doing their job, right? They're just doing their job. Their job happens to be cool, right? Their job happens to be making a movie. Their job happens to be hitting home runs or shooting hoops, but it's the same. It's the same thing. It's just a job, right? It's a job, just like working at Kroger or working at Walmart or driving a truck. It's a job, right? Well, why can we not celebrate those people who are making my life easier and better every day? So that's where. So I had the general idea for everybody before I started working at Walmart. Then while working at Walmart, it really clicked to me what the intention of the brand would be. Obviously, we would sell clothes, right? Because everybody wants cool shirts that say everybody on it, right? But the intention of the brand would be to put an emphasis on that kind of community, to put an emphasis on those kinds of people, because you see brands all the time. They have a roster, they have an ambassador program, and it's usually like more celebrities. It's like people who already have a following, or people who are already in the public eye, are already have all these things. Like, what do you like? Yeah, I don't get it. So for everybody, the idea would be that my roster, my ambassador program, would be people in the community doing the work. Maybe it's small business owners. Maybe it's someone who's been working at Kroger for 30 years or has been driving a truck for 30 years. These people are going to be on my roster for everybody. I'm going to go into these stores and ask them and talk to them and tell them what I'm trying to do. And then hopefully they respond with saying yes. Then maybe a shirt will be made about them or for them, or something that they feel inclined to want to design. And then they can I'm not exactly sure, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to go with that. But then maybe an event will happen. We sponsor them for an event, and there's an event for them, and maybe the money goes to them or their families, or maybe it goes to some organization that they feel inspired by, or they really love and care about, or I don't know. But that's the extra little layer that I think will set that brand apart from just other regular clothing brands, right? So I'm really excited for that. I'm working with a few of my friends on it. One being Jesse and one being Noah. And I'm really excited to be working with them on this project, so that we can launch in January. But from now until then, go to shopforeverybody.com, subscribe to our emailing list, and then follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We'll be posting some stuff. I'll be passing, if I see you at a show or whatever, I'll be passing out some free shirts, so we can take some pictures in those, and I can put them on the social media sites, and we can just kind of get the name and the idea and the mission of that behind that. I don't know if I explained that well, but I feel like it'll be even more explained in recent months and in coming months. I just wanted to put that idea out there. So people are aware of that and kind of what my goal is with that. And then obviously I have You Are Loved now has a Twitter and Instagram as well. So go follow those at You Are Loved Life. And then if you're looking for any of the merchandise for You Are Loved, which 100% goes to mental health awareness, research, and education, we'll have 2 new shirts up in July for Minority Mental Health Month. I'm collaborating with 2 independent professional wrestlers to create some really, really cool shirts that will go to whatever organization those 2 individuals feel like is necessary. It's about them, it's about their story, and it's about what they want to do and accomplish. I'll just be sponsoring basically the shirt on youarelovedlife.com. And so I'm really pumped about that. So yeah, follow those. I think quarantine, I don't know if quarantine gave me time to think, but I mean, it definitely did, right? Obviously it gave me time to think, but it definitely gave me time to see where I want, my things to go. I think I've always had an issue with like future plans, like looking ahead, because I've always wanted to do more. Whether it was in baseball, I wanted more. Whether it's pro wrestling, I've always tried to do more. And now just in general, being an entrepreneur and like a mental health advocate, I've always feel like I'm not doing enough and I want to do more. And so that's why I keep, I have these ideas and these plans and I put them in motion, and I'm very action oriented. And if I think about doing something, I'm more than likely going to do it and see it through. I'm not worried about it being perfect. I'm not really even worried about it succeeding, really. I just feel like if I start it, there's a sense of accomplishment there, and I'm proud of myself on that regard. But I've always had a tough time of like, just like sitting down and being in the present moment, or being super proud of myself for like the things I've accomplished, because I'm always thinking about what more can I do? What more can I do? And that gets you in a really tricky position. I know a lot of people who have a competitive background, whether it be sports or not, have the same kind of feeling, because we're very driven people and we want to do more, and I always do. But I'm learning to, sit back and smell the roses because they're beautiful. I'm a really grateful human being for what I have, and also what I don't have, and what I've done, and what I will do. But I want to be able to really, really enjoy every moment, because I'm never going to get any of these moments back, and I want to be able to say that I enjoyed them and I lived them and I loved them. And I'm working on that. That's something I'm working on every day, to try to just live in the present. But also, because life is so unpredictable, right? We just don't know what's going to happen. It's so unpredictable. So it's like, it's great to make goals, and have those goals and have those desires and have those intentions. It's beautiful to then work towards those intentions and those desires and those goals and those dreams. But we really can't predict how life is going to go, because it's so unpredictable. So you want to live in the moment. You want to be open to everything. You want to be grateful for the moment, for waking up in the morning, and make those steps daily towards those goals, towards those desires, but possibly having to make pivots throughout that journey to really get where you want to go, because life is so unpredictable. I know I've had to do that. I know many people who have success stories. Doesn't matter what your definition of success is. In their success stories have made major pivots in the road to reach their destination. And there's peaks and valleys, and there's ups and downs, and there's all these crazy wild turns. But the process, I think, is what's important. The process and the moment and the present and the experiences. The experience is money for the soul. Experience is money for the soul. It teaches you who you are and what you want through those experiences. And we got to live life to get those experiences. And I think that's what's important. It just got to be in flow of what's happening. I don't know if obviously I grew up Jewish. My parents are Jewish. I'm Jewish. I consider myself Jewish, very much so. If I ever have children, they will be raised Jewish as well. But I think also I'm spiritual now. I believe in these different things. And I think that kind of thought process has helped me in my journey of grieving and sadness and loss, and dealing with, the unpredictability of life, and dealing with the hardships that life throws at you. And so I think maybe that can help others too. I don't know. It's all an individual journey of a shared experience. So yeah, coffee's good though. I kind of like doing these solo episodes. I'm not sure why I didn't do them before. But I was going to talk about some current events, but I didn't even open I didn't even open any tabs to like look into what. I mean, obviously I know like the big things are happening, right? We're still dealing with COVID-19, and we're still fighting for Black lives, because no lives matter until Black Lives Matter. It's a very simple concept. So we got to keep fighting for that, and amplifying voices, learning, unlearning, listening, digesting, comprehending, feeling, trying to understand, helping people who feel like they're underrepresented, all these things. It's a daily journey for everything. Change doesn't happen overnight, but it starts within, If we can change the way we thought about something or change the way we feel about something, and then work in our inner circle to then be that light and be that beacon of knowledge, that then you can kind of open up the minds of people in your inner circle, and then they go out, and it's like a domino effect of trying to understand and be understanding and being open and unlearning and then learning again. It's a hard process, but we have to do it. It's something we have to do. We have to be anti-racist. It's not good enough just to be a nice person anymore. It doesn't even make sense. You have to be fighting for anti-racism. If you see it, speak up about it. That's it. That's all there is to it. Fight for change. So, those are obviously the big current events. I didn't really look up anything else, no sports or anything else related to that. But I want to make kind of some closing remarks here. I want to make a few points I think that are important. I say a lot, or maybe I don't say enough. I don't know. But my intention is never to be preachy or tell you what to do. And I definitely feel like what I'm saying never comes across like right. And I'm never trying to be right. That's not my intention. I'm not trying to, I'm just speaking on things that have worked for me in my life and my journey. And then maybe saying those things to you, maybe help you make click for you. One thing I might say might be like the light bulb that goes off and be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. That'll help me for sure. If anything I say in this show or in this podcast is wrong, or it upsets you, or you feel like you're offended by it, please hold me accountable for my actions. Hold me accountable. I want to be held accountable for the things that I say and the things that I do. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to maybe get it right. But it's a work in progress. Ooh, it just started raining. It's a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. I'm continually trying to learn every day, because we're being presented new information every day. So we each have a duty to individually digest that information and do with it what we want. But we have our own duty then to do our own research about things that are happening. So once again, if I say something that came across wrong, or you thought I could have said it better, or there's another way to say it, please message me, tell me. I want to be held accountable. I want to be better. I want this to be a podcast where everyone feels like they can listen to it and they get a little bit of something out of it, whether it was a funny moment, whether it's a coffee, whether it was a little mental health tip, or, anything really. It doesn't matter. I just want to be, I'm going to hold my people and my friends and my family accountable for what they do and what they say. And I want to be held in the same regard. It doesn't matter that I'm putting myself out on a public platform. I'm asking for it. And I think that's an important way that we learn and unlearn and grow. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't really have much else to say. I don't think. This has been I think it's been a good episode. I feel like I think it's going to be a good episode. Let me know what you think. You can comment below on the YouTube channel, or just DM me what you thought, or give us a like, subscribe, review it on Apple, follow it on Spotify, all that good stuff. There'll be a lot of solo episodes for sure, and Everybody's Hotline will be coming soon, which is just basically me opening up my phone line for an hour and trying to have really good open discussion and dialogue with people that call in. I think that's a brilliant tool to create some connection. And I'm probably going to do maybe an Ask Me Anything episode, probably. But I feel like that I'm pretty open anyways. So like I want to answer questions and say how I'm feeling and be open about everything all the time. I want to be transparent and I want to be real. So maybe we'll do that. I don't know. I'm excited about where this podcast is going. Sometimes, I think most of the time, good things do come out of poor, terrible situations if you just are able to get through those terrible situations. I think that's what having optimism and positivity is about. It's not eating something that tastes like shit and saying, oh, this tastes good. No, you can say that it tastes like shit, but you can know that you can get past it, you can get through it, and there's light at the end of the tunnel where things are going to get better. That's positivity. That's optimism. Right? We don't have to pretend to be happy or pretend to like something. No, we know if we keep working at it, if we keep going, if we keep pressing ahead, that it will get better. That's positivity. That's optimism. I believe in that fully with my whole heart. I believe love is the answer. Love has always been the answer. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you. Have a good day. Cheers.